Hear my plea to the fallen, leave me to be with the broken one last time before I go. Hold the last burning ember, let us never surrender. May we rise up to the call for the glory and the fall. For the weak and the broken, for the lost and forsaken, let us never surrender. May we rise up to the
Cold and harsh winter, only 2 teams heeded the call. Over the icy terrain, as the snow is already making a problem for me. Hopefully it will not be for our players, because they are stepping into this winter final. And for one of them, the fall. For the other, the glory. A ticket to MSI, and of course the honor of calling themselves the 2024 LEC Winter Champions. First up, G2 Esports, Broken Blade. Holding down the jungle, Yike. Sovereign in mid, Caps. Always guns blazing, Hans Sama. Current MVP, Mikyx. Give it up for G2 Esports. Next up, they're on an insane lower bracket run. They've had so many fans here cheering them on. It's been an incredible journey to watch. It is Mad Lions Koi, Myrwn. The veteran Elyoya. Superstar in the making, Fresskowy. Our pentakill demon, Supa. Supporting them all, Alvaro. Well, in 2021, it was Elyoya as a rookie then taking down the G2 dynasty. Will history repeat itself here today as Elyoya has another chance to do the same? Only one battle left for us in the snow here in Berlin. G2 Esports or Mad Lions Koi?
The expectation we had since the start was to win everything.
Gwen is immune, but Noah is not. And because it went to Gwen, Noah thought he was safe. MDK absolutely outplayed Fnatic. Sorry guys, I love you. I love you all.
We really want to win it, and seeing someone else accomplish that, seeing ourselves fail, it just shows like what could have been if we had worked harder.
We are not going without any fear, so that's going to be really hype.
Myrwn now looking to knock back here, desperate to get the 1v1 back. Oh!
Enemies are coming to get us, you know. If we are the #1 target, everyone has a target on us, and every team is fighting for their lives. We will have to be ready.
This time around, Hansama does have ultimate immediately. The follow-up is there. Severing bolt from the sky. And another kill to the side of G2.
The enemy team is standing up, hugging each other after winning. I want to be that guy, you know. I want the enemy team to be salty. I want them to be hungry to beat me, to beat us. That is, for me, the greatest feeling. To be on top and everybody's chasing you.
Nuke has to do it all, but the Emperor has other plans. Madlands Koi will keep their dreams alive.
It's not about the trophy, it's about to prove ourselves that we can do it, we are here to win.
You called them Elyoya and friends, you mocked them. Well, Elyoya and friends are going to finals.
I think it's just up to myself to not be my worst enemy, and I'm sure I can take them down.
This is G2's world. You're just living in it.
Welcome to the caster desk for the Winter Finals. I'm Drakos, joined by none other than Dagda and Vedius, and the much anticipated finals matchup is finally here. Boys, we started some 3-0s on the desk. I hope for our sake it's not. Broxah coping maybe a little bit too much with the dramatic reverse sweep
here,
angle.
Which means we have to go to 5 games.
Yeah, we need another 5, boys. Yeah. We got to go all the way.
He has to cast 15 games this weekend, folks.
I mean, I'm excited.
Caster magic to keep it going.
G2 Esports, of course, the Titans sitting at the top of Winter. They were our victors last year. Mad Lions looking to take that throne away from them just as they did in spring. It was Elyoya at the helm. Let's see if we can make that same magic happen. We've seen some incredible series from these teams in the past, and I'm hoping for another banger today.
And it's Elyoya that actually, when you look back at the years, has been the one that's come out on top. He's 3-2 domestically against G2 in best of series. So let's see if you can try and make that magic happen again. But it is up against G2 that have definitely looked the most dominant this split. So for this Elyoya and a group of rookies to come in and dethrone them would be such an incredible moment for what is only the beginning of these players' stories.
And while it's easy to look at the history of Elyoya in the context of matchup or the history of the Mad Lions organization, now Mad Lions Koi, this is almost a completely new team. Looking to start their own record, their own story against G2 Esports. And while they came up short in the regular season, most certainly, we've seen how much they've grown over the last 2 days. And the number one question I think on everyone's mind is it going to be enough? Going against a G2 who have had to show us nothing, who smashed BDS and who have made it look effortless. Now we're going to need to see what the adjustments are, what the adaptations are as we get into picks and bans for Game 1. Renata, the first champion taken away.
We imagine Kalista Maokai going to be the response from Mad Lions Koi, but G2, their bans are often very tailored towards the opponents that they're going up against. And the Azir being respected from Fresskowy. He's shown some fantastic performances over the last 2 days.
Yeah, I agree. I think we'll see the Maokai ban here for Mad Lions Koi. It's actually going to be the Draven. So I think on the upside for G2, do they respect the Senna? It's not going to be. We've seen Senna banned a lot against Supa over the course of playoffs, but going to look towards the Zai instead, which means that, I mean, realistically, if you end up banning more AD carries here, you're going to be in a bit of a difficult spot here for Mad Lions Koi as we move into this.
Could be a situation where we see Senna traded for Varus. Senna obviously used very well by both of these lineups. G2 will opt to lock it in. Mad Lions Koi, Varus next in line in terms of perceived meta power. See what the actual laning matchup looks like as we get further into the draft.
I think it's also the flexibility that you have with the Varus again, because Myrwn can take that into the top side if you want to try and go that. And oftentimes we see it paired with something like the Ivern here for Elyoya, and Alvaro playing that engage tool. So the Rell still can be flexed into that bottom lane depending. Traditionally we've seen Mikyx go towards the Maokai, but with that band away, more than likely going to be the Nautilus in that bot side, which Rell can do perfectly fine into.
We're looking at a potential Vi here for G2. I wonder if that is the direction that they choose to go to. Often something that Yike has a lot of comfort on, a lot of dive threat as well. Divine Nautilus could be a fairly good pairing, but the TF coming out likely for Broken Blade.
TF now being locked in already kind of telegraphs the game plan for G2 Esports, playing a lot more to side lane, something that Mad Lions Koi themselves have brought out and leveraged, but something that can often leave teams that aren't perfectly coordinated, you know, scrambling to deal with. It was the side lane pressure that dissected BDS in our upper bracket semifinal last week. See if G2 Esports can replicate some of that success here, as it is the Vi as predicted.
Yeah, I mean, you can even send this still in 2 caps, and even if you want to have Broken Blade go for something like the Zac that he's been very willing to pair up with, this Vi combo where it's just backline access, incredibly easy to work with, and see if you can set yourself up. But I do think with the Twisted Fate, more than likely we're going to see more of a side lane threat, so you can play at this 1-3-1 and then look for picks off that pressure with the Vi.
And it's interesting because yesterday I feel like we saw Mad Lions Koi almost fighting back against what are the very conventional scaling front-to-back drafts of BDS. Today they're like, no, we're cool. We're going to be the ones taking the front-to-back. We got the Varus, we got the Ori, we got a ball delivery system, clearly prepared to fight 5v5 when they get the opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, you imagine that the Hui is going to be next on the ban list. Don't want to give that over to Caps, given his proficiency on it. Is leaning towards a potential Akali, though. So they do have to be concerned about that, but we'll see what direction they do with the final ban. Ivern still being shown as a respect, of course, the Rell being a flex pick between jungle and support.
Well, the Rell and the Varus as well. Myrwn, when he had the Ivern available to back him up, looked nigh unstoppable in the 1v1 matchup.
But I see the AD LeBlanc taken away here, which I do like. I think that just gives you a ton of threat access, and Cap's still one of the few remaining people globally who's willing to pick up this champion, so getting that off the board is going to be nice. But I do think you're looking at something that wants to try and play for that side lane control, so maybe they're happy enough to just try and go towards something like an Akali here for Caps in that mid lane. But I have to try and see exactly what the plan is. But I do like the Ivern ban as well, just making sure that you're not going to have this very long-range comp with a ton of AD carries that Mad Lions have run before.
I mean, G2 are looking at a Hui Nautilus sort of matchup right now.
Zach the hover here.
I mean, I think it could be good in terms of follow-up dive. I think that in the matchup, it struggles against TF, assuming that the TF is going top lane. But as a scaling teamfight pick, it does make a lot of sense. Eventually, you're going to get strong enough where you're probably not going to be too concerned about going up against the Twisted Fate. And it's something that Myrwn should be able to just weather the storm with.
And this is the situation where if TF is a flex pick, if they are willing to play at mid, we'd want to see that now, because Darius is the conventional answer into Zach. Usually banned away when you want to go for it. Mad Lions Koi clearly is the call here. We know this TF is top. It is not a flex. It is not going anywhere else. G2 could change that, though.
I really want to see them take a carry here for BB, because I think if you do put Caps on the Twisted Fate, the Senna level 6, you can all in on that top side and look for that pick. So we still don't know for certain. There's still a little bit of flexibility here. More than likely won't be the...
You feel like it's for sure mid lane.
I was going to say, Akali probably not going to have the best of time against Zach on that top side, so I think it will be the TF top. But I still think you have a lot of opportunities to play heavily up against the top side.
That's spicy.
Wait, is it Zach jungle, Rell support?
It could also be.
No. It's Zach support, I think.
Into Naught?
No. Okay.
No. I was like, it's crazy. He leaps through the air, telegraphs his approach, and gets hooked out every time.
So I think Yasuo is a great matchup into Twisted Fate. It was historically used as a great answer in mid lane, just because of how the wind wall, the stun card is what gives TF so much power and disengage. The wind wall just completely nullifies that potential. And the chase down and the scaling is something that Yasuo can just match in a side lane as well. Myrwn saying, no, I'm not bringing
That's what I was about to say. They just pop, right? You just put the TF mid and then nullify that. So you still get that flexibility.
I mean, that's the beauty of it, right? I think you made a great call, Dagda. My expectation was that they would keep that TF top, but G2 doing that last-minute swap. Fortunately for MDK, Orianna still a great matchup into the Twisted Fate, but Akali going to have a much nicer time into the Yone up top side.
Yeah, into the Yasuo, going to feel good. Myrwn's first Yasuo this year. See how well he can pilot it into this particular matchup. The Twisted Fate matchup, obviously much more Yasuo favored. Pretty hard to beat a wind wall as a champion reliant on a gold card to get through a lot of exchanges. We'll see how that changes as G2 opted last second to switch up the lane matchups. Don't think MDK are going to get with anything too crazy here. Probably won't swap their laners manually, as we often see.
The energy is electric here in the arena. So much support for both of these teams. Credit to the MDK fans. They have been here every single day of the weekend, showing that love and support for Mad Lions Koi. But now the G2 army is here to try and rival them. We're jumping into game one of this best of 5 winter finals. G2 versus Mad Lions Koi. Not only title for the winter split, but also a spot at MSI.
And remember, the Mad Lions Koi just consistently have surpassed our expectations at every single hurdle to make it this far. But G2 feel, for many, like they are a cut above. And I think this first game is going to show us how much Mad Lions Koi can fight here. They've been put into somewhat unoptimal lane matchups by the last-minute creative flexibility of G2. Myrwn, can he come out on top in the 1v1? If he can do that in game one, in a slightly disadvantageous situation, that could just flip the script for this entire matchup.
But I think it does become very difficult for you to play aggressive in this matchup as Myrwn, because not only do you have to worry about Caps when he hits level 6 going up to that top side to make things a bit more difficult, you even got like Senna ultimate that can come in from Hans Sam as well. So having access to make these plays is going to need to happen very quickly, and make sure that you can actually get this early lead for Myrwn, so that then it becomes a bit more difficult for G2 to just enact their will on the map with the amount of globals that they have.
For now, though. Quiet, level 1. We've gotten so used to Zac top lane, we forgot that he was designed to be a jungler. There he is. Speed, clear speed, still pretty slow. We'll see how much better it gets once there's a potential Bomby Cinder to come out, but obviously not going to feel too bad in terms of overall sustain. Yike with the buy, obviously an early priority pick. We know what this champion can do in terms of early game impact. See if Yike can find some of these aggressive gank angles.
But one of the things about the Zac is how good it is when you've got a lot of immobile carries, as Hansam has demonstrated.
Ignited. Big level 1 exchange for the side of Mad Lions Koi. The fact that CC manages to connect, it's Hail of Blades Varus. You cannot be walking up to take those trades.
And that's what I was going to say, is that if you're able to play off of this as, hey, we're going to burn some Sunder spells in lane, get Elyoya to come in with creative angles, this is what Zac does best. Put the pressure onto G2 and make sure they're actually in the back foot so they can't try and play off these globals.
I mean, the beauty of what the Zac enables is that you have 3 pushing lanes. One of the big concerns that you have as a Zac player is the risk of getting invaded. You don't have a strong dueling presence in the early game. It's very easy for Vi to be able to invade, just cause a lot of chaos. But you look at the bot lane, very favorable trades going for Supa and Alvaro. We're going to see another one on our screens right now. The push in mid in favor of the Orianna, as well as Myrwn getting that push towards the top side of the map as well. It's Elyoya looking for the invades.
Getting aggressive here, has the red buff for himself. Yike trying to sidestep, is not going to be able to walk away. Aftershock now procs, some good follow-up damage. Alvaro and Supa have first roam here. Q out to safety, the flash from Elyoya, a bit premature there. Yike just barely able to escape, gets the red buff as well.
Huge win for Yike. Not only did he get the camp, but Elyoya tried to flash in front of the Q, misses, and now that's just a summoner gone on Elyoya when he was the one invading. So Yike will lose his chickens, but that could have gone so much worse.
Love the idea here from Mad Lions Koi. There's a hook connects. Don't think it's going to be too crazy. But basically, you're using your pushing lanes everywhere to just constantly find these small advantages. Typically, you will not see a Zac setting up for an invade, but Elyoya knows that his bot lane is able to come. Unfortunately for them, as Dagda highlighted, they end up losing the red buff regardless. So I love this aggression that we're seeing from Mad Lions Koi. 3 days of games. This is their 11th within a 3-day span on stage, but that aggression, that enthusiasm, that desire to win, they're showing no hesitation against G2.
And I think this is the correct thing that they need to keep up, right? You have winning lanes. Let's just try and use that pressure to keep Yike out of the action, because if that's the case, well, then you get to make plays.
Flash, instant follow-up. Elyoya now trying to go in. Hansama not going to be locked up. Able to flash back onto safety. Use the cleanse earlier. Now they're trying to turn it back onto Alvaro. Barely able to walk away. Supa. Any follow-up here. Doesn't quite have the cooldowns to finish the kill. You can see low health bars, but Yike nowhere in the area. Cannot respond. So Supa's just going to walk up here. Get a ton for free. Hansama and Mikyx
They can't stick around. They cannot stick around. Elyoya has his passive. This is lunacy.
If you don't dodge this Q, you just die. Hansama tries to get to the side. Mikyx, it's a great hook. Passive. Not going to get procced. Elyoya hits the blob and walks away. One more blob on the ground. Walks in. They proc the passive, but now Supa can follow up. Is anyone willing to burn a TP here? Does they think there's a counterplay? There's nothing here. They've lost so much. Hook back in. Auto. Mickey at least getting one back. But MDK taking everything from G2 in the bottom lane.
Supa will take that every day of the week. He gets a kill. Sure, it goes to the support, but that massive wave has been lost to no one. It's actually a massive, massive win for Mad Lions Koi. Elyoya putting the pressure down when he needs to.
Beautiful play from Mad Lions Koi. We think back to last year, and this was a strong point for G2. Their bot lane was often how they won their games, but they overstay in this 2 versus 2. Drakos said it, the passive is available on Elyoya, but it's Supa that actually tanks up the tower, walks away with just barely enough health, the pop ticking away. Mikyx is able to pop the passive out, but a nice response here from Mikyx. Sees the hook, the arrow channeling, actually brings him within tower range, and he ends up trading 1-for-1. So this is kind of a best case scenario for Mikyx, but as you rightly said, Mad Lions Koi is going to be happy with that.
Like, yeah, exactly. It's like, do we know if Mad Lions Kois are happy? Let's go check the eBuy camp. Yes, it would appear that they are happy. Unsurprising. And again, 700 gold difference in the, the bot lane already is going to make this so difficult. But Caps now trying to punish, now trying to find the shutdown. Hook from Mikyx going a little bit wide. Caps doesn't really have the damage here without another rotation of cooldowns. One more card. Red card should slow him down. Alvaro here to stop any follow-up. Supa just walking away on the edge of death, still coming out on top. But here comes Fresskowy. Where's the ball going to go? Caps coming in. Flash away from the shockwave. Hansama now the one locked up. G2 just overcommitting. They're so desperate to get something back, and they will get Alvaro. But Fresskowy just keeps going. One more out of the clockwork. Wind up finishing the job. Elyoya on the backside. Keep your eyes on that Zac. Here he comes. Q set up. Auto to Caps. Boom. Kiss and die, baby. Mad Lions Koi taking over on the bottom side of the map. Triple kill for Fresskowy.
It's a kiss, but this is not made up. Mad Lions Koi are destroying G2 on the bottom side of this map. Getting the picks, getting Elyoya into position to follow up. 6-2 and a 2,000 gold lead for the Spanish representative.
The execution is just falling apart for G2. Mad Lions Koi, with the support of their fans in the arena, are playing with perfect precision. We look back at this bot play. Mikyx isn't able to connect the hook. Supa buys enough time to create space between him and Caps, doing what damage he can on the back end as well. Then Alvaro comes in with the stun to buy enough time for Fresskowy to join the fight, and once he does, this is when MDK find the turn.
Yeah, Mad Lions Koi just having that position to get that shockwave on the hand Sama because he had no flash. And then even though Alvaro goes down, like Elyoya gives up on Void Grubs, makes it down to this bottom side, but these are the types of plays that G2 need to land. If you are losing out on these plays, and you're going to lose out when you come to team fights because the composition you have to make sure that you are making these plays succeed. That TF ultimate is now gone, and you don't get a second chance at it.
Frustration on the side of G2. Mad Lions Koi probably feeling electric right now. How they have to keep their energy up for the whole day, no doubt. But right now, game one off to an incredible start. So difficult for G2 to play this one out. I think just disrespecting a little bit in the early game how powerful the Varus was. MDK snowballing beautifully as Myrwn keeping the pressure up top side. Zach jumping in, connecting on the knockup means an instant ultimate if they want it. That's the combo. Stretching strikes there as well. Broken Blade dashing out, just barely able to escape. Myrwn on the hunt. Don't think he's going to try to flash for that one.
Credit to Broken Blade. The moment he saw the Zach, he actually used the R so that he could start the cooldown being triggered on the second half of it. He's able to get that small window where he can create enough space to get away from Myrwn. But Myrwn's aggression is not done just yet. Supa doesn't have flash. The hook connects.
Counter punch by ult on the way in, but Fresskowy's level 8. The shield is massive, and G2 just do not have the damage. Senna and Twisted Fate at this point don't have enough money. They're just not threatening enough on their own.
The ultimate from Supa as well, used to buy enough space between him and Mikyx. Myrwn now with a 300 gold lead. He doesn't find a kill, but that's the advantage he finds in top lane. 3-0-1 for Fresskowy in the mid lane. Things looking up as Elyoya looks for another gank.
Knockup not quite going to connect. Casual sidestep from Caps. Elastic Slingshot coming in, but Yike is there to cover. Nothing will come from that one. Good patience from Caps. Doesn't burn the heal for movement speed.
I love this from Elyoya though. Like, you have so many of these lanes that are so difficult to escape away from Zach as he jumps in. So just putting the pressure down, making sure that Yike can't get in. Like, Yike is trying to match Elyoya's pressure, but now Elyoya is in his face thanks to mid push.
Pull back there. Buff stolen away, and you highlighted the constant aggression from Elyoya paired with what were already reasonably winning lanes, accelerated obviously by some positive early plays as Myrwn and Broken Blade continue to trade. This lane is going to get a lot harder for Yasuo once Akali has some items under her belt, most certainly.
I will say that it's a pretty interesting skill matchup between the two. I definitely think that you can give the advantage to Akali, but there's all sorts of things that you can win more, and there's a lot of, well, skill expression available to both parties.
If you win while the Shuriken flip, you feel great. When the Shuriken flip comes out is, hard to say. There's a lot of dashes happening everywhere.
I mean, you can also just make life annoying by using, because her Q can be blocked by the wind wall, right? So you can just keep moving in and out of the wind wall while this Akali's desperately trying to hit her Q on you. Can't proc her passive, and then so much of her damage will be lost. So Myrwn right now has the slight advantage. A wave is stacking towards top side, but nothing really going to come off the back of it. Dragon has been secured by MDK. The Grubs, 2 have only dropped so far, so there is still 1 available. Unlikely that we'll see the 5 Grub buff hit. But so far, MDK off to a great start in game 1.
And I like that we're seeing this aggression towards Dragons as well, because MDK have not been a team that focus them. Yes, they're top of the league when it comes to Void Grubs, but they have not gotten hung up.
Nice wind wall, follow up, no ulti going to be committed there. Myrwn getting hit by the Shuriken flip. A little bit difficult for the trade. Q3 won't connect that time. Ignite for Broken Blade, the big thing you have to keep your eye on there. All that additional kill pressure is dangerous. X-Flash not going to get traded here as Mikyx's caught out. Fresskowy on the roam down. Mikyx should just go down. Fresskowy going to walk him down slowly but surely. Mikyx a little over-eager on the Hex Splash angle, just getting caught out.
That jungle does not belong to G2 anymore. Elyoya has been using the pressure from his lanes consistently to move into that half of the map and look for opportunities. He finds another, but let's see if Yike can get something back.
Fishing, waiting to hold on to the ultimate as long as possible to make sure PB can land his combos, but easy kill. Of course, the counterplay in the meantime is the bottom tower. G2 in a bit of a desperation situation, needed to force that play, needed to make something happen. But in the bottom lane, Only 2 plates left standing. Caps now coming in, has a bit more damage under his belt. Maybe he can get the gold card down. He has locked up Supa. Supa going to be in trouble, but Elyoya is there to cover. Knockout coming in from the Nautilus. Good damage fall from the Senna, but not quite enough to finish the job. Ignite ticking will get it done. Shut down for Caps. Elyoya on the run. G2 trying to regain a bit of momentum here. Alvaro off to the side, ready to try and disengage, but just completely whiffs. And Mikyx wants to keep this train rolling as he connects the hook on Elyoya. Fresskowy can be the one to try to turn it back, but here comes Yike just in time. It was so good for Mad Lions Koi, but in a moment of over-aggression, G2 turned everything on its head.
Caps did such a good job in matching where G2 wanted to put their aggression. He leant topside as they were going for the dive on Yasuo, and then immediately leans that bot lane to make sure that he can cover. And Mad Lions Koi, they were over-aggressive. They don't respect the twisted phase. And with the heals, the shields that Hans Sama is able to provide, there's just not enough in the tank for Mad Lions Koi to take down G2 on the bot side. And Yike with the reset timer is perfectly placed to come in here as Mikyx lands a great hook on into Elyoya, squeezing that one around Fresskowy.
Fresskowy was just trying to buy time. He thought the shockwave might be enough. Flashes away to safety, but Caps flashes after, secures 800 gold. And just like that, that gold lead that MDK had built disappears. You look at the bottom of your screen, Supa still with a healthy advantage over Hans Sama. But across the map, things going in favor of G2.
And oftentimes when you look at a game of League of Legends, you look up at the top of the screen, you look at that gold lead, but it's important to understand what that means, because it is just the Varus who is ahead. If G2 keeps starting plays where Supa is the first to die, Mad Lions Koi do not have a gold lead whatsoever.
I will also say, though, don't forget the Twist of Fate does have his passive. So even though it's looking like a bit of an even one in the mid lane, a 4-kill Orianna that already has a losing companion is going to do a lot. So.
It's fake data. Dad has a hedge fund. Doesn't count. Meanwhile, on the bottom side, however, Hans Sama needs to be careful. Nice ulti coming in from Supa. Follow-up immediately there from Alvaro.
Ooh.
Alvaro making sure that that one works. Now the TP coming in from Broxah. 3 members on the bottom side, a bit disadvantageous. Is the ulti now going to come in? Alvaro once again just trying to disengage. Leap out from Zach Elyoya, trying to make it a safety slowly but surely though. Broken Blade whittling down the competition, but it's just not enough damage. Gold card going in, and MDK happy to pick up the free kill onto Mikyx. Here comes Yike, however. Can they get more in the extended play? The flash in, the full commit. Caps looking to follow up. Blocking in a blue card though, maybe not ideal. Once again, the damage, the follow up, and Supa still standing. They keep forgetting about the lethality Varus. He is all of Mad Lions Koi's gold lead. And G2, oh, from downtown!
Lethality Senna on the opposite end!
It is nothing but a brawl between these two teams. MDK this time strike back. The frontliners doing their due diligence and just weathering so much of the engage from G2. A lot of single target damage on the side of G2, and as long as Supa gets given the space, you see him tearing G2 apart with those empowered Qs. Crazy fight going in favor of MDK. They get a tower in the top lane as well, and they've reasserted their dominance as they gain a 2k gold lead.
And you got to respect that G2 are trying to fight their way out of this deficit, but they can't afford to take more sloppy fights, because you saw in that one, you highlighted it. Yasuo wasn't even there. Myrwn's just farming on the top side. He's already got a Blade of the Rune King. He's sitting pretty. He's the biggest benefactor of that whole exchange, and he didn't even get any kills. Yike now has to be careful. Elyoya, 3 members here. There should be no way for Yike to get out. Chain CC just about flawless from the side of MDK. So a lot of their damage burned. G2 not going to go for any follow-up this time around.
They still can move into this mid lane. Rift Herald is up and available. Bot lane tower is gone. Supa just needs to be a little bit careful approaching here, but Elyoya, he's waiting in the wings.
Broken Blade. Shroud, where is it going to go? Waiting as long as possible. Ulti still connecting. Queuing into Broken Blade. He's so low. Elyoya just hits him with the unstable matter. A bit of goo to finish the job.
And that's just another kill picked up for MDK. Moving around the map, finding pick after pick. G2, it is their mid-game macro that has been praised so much this split, and MDK is saying, screw the macro, we're just going for kills, and they're making it work.
I mean, they're punishing G2 for overextending on side lanes. G2 maybe just a little bit overconfident. Broken Blade really thought he could escape in that circumstance, but absolutely could not. MDK, they make a big enough opening in the early game. G2's mid-game is so heavily nerfed. That said, G2 starting the Herald, hoping to get something back as the Dragon is meanwhile being taken by Elyoya.
I mean, you look at the comp, and it's G2s that should be looking to attack side lanes, trying to find picks, trying to catch MDK off guard, but Elyoya's positioning on the map, he's just got such a great awareness. The amount of setup that he has from his team as well. Supa and Alvaro provide so much CC for the Zac to easily land those combos. And with the lead that they have more than enough damage. 12 to 8 is the kill lead, a 3.5k gold lead, and that right there is the damage we were talking about. A level lead over Hans Sama for Supa. 2 items completed, the lethality build. well and truly on its way.
And this is where it gets difficult for G2 to really try and play out the composition, right? They have no real control over the bot side jungle, can't really overextend his broken play because you just saw what happens. You're looking at the top side, maybe they can look for a pick on mid though, as the lanes aren't set up for Mad Koi.
Next flash forward. Elyoya spotted crucially by the Destiny. Cap's gonna get the gold card off onto Supa. They just want to delete this Varus to kick off the fight. Good read from G2. Supa out of the equation, and now G2 are the favored ones. Gold card coming in from Caps. Myrwn Windwall is just barely gonna block it. Going in once again with the Yasuo ultimate. Great Q3 coming through. Windwall not available. They have to be careful on the follow-up here. Gold card locked in for Caps. Is just barely gonna connect onto Yasuo on the backside, but Elyoya looking to disengage, looking to disrupt. Myrwn is their only remaining damage. There is no fight left here for Mad Lions Koi. Elyoya gives his life for the disengage.
He ends up going down, but at least the rest of Mad Lions Koi get away. That could have gone very, very poorly. There was no pressure on side lanes for Mad Lions Koi, so G2 found that moment to reset, run in mid, and see if they could get something back, and they'll get 2 for their trouble, as Yike was the only one who went down.
I mean, I'm impressed with how quickly Mad Lions Koi respond to this. We look at the minimap, we can see Myrwn still sitting top. Supa, everything gets thrown on him, but the front line, the combination of Zac and Rell providing CC to try and buy time. Fresskowy getting solo killed on the back end by Broken Blade gets mitigated by that wombo combo of the Yasuo Orianna. It ends up being a 1-for-1. Myrwn being forced to flash, and Elyoya saying, you know what, I'll actually think we can turn this one around. When Caps throws out his flash, they realize, no, it's not possible. Elyoya, you'll have to give your life up. Ends up being a 2-for-1, but a lot of summoner spells used in that exchange.
Yeah, I don't know if they were just waiting just a couple seconds more. You can get the TP from Fresskowy after he goes to the reset. Maybe they were trying to play for that, just messed up the timing a little bit, but everyone back on the map now. Because side lane, or top laner and mid laner didn't go down for Mad Lions Koi, at least they're in position to try and catch some of these waves before G2 are really able to get that big a tempo advantage that they want to. But with Supa just being able to full clear these waves, it unlocks Alvaro a little bit, but now he's locked down.
Alvaro, Root is there. Follow-up from G2. Potentially going to come in here. And such a difficult game for G2 to play out, but finding those picks onto Supa 2 times, really their path back into this one, taking that gold lead out of the equation. That said, Mad Lions Koi have to be aware of this. I don't think they're going to get many more opportunities to try and punish Supa like that.
But that's the thing. If you are Mad Lions Koi and you're not finding these windows to push outside lanes, you're giving this moment to Caps, right? He disappears into Fog of War. Supa cannot step up in mid lane because it's very easy for G2 to collapse once more, find that pick. He's not running the cleanse, he's running heal. So he is that prime target. So that's why you see Mad Lions Koi going, okay, cool, we need to start to set up vision. We need to try and find ways to get vision on the side of the map Caps is on, to spot as he starts to roam, to figure out where this Twisted Fate is trying to go to.
Mad Lions Koi still have a very powerful front to back if they can get first set up on the objectives, and they have the lead. G2, though, going to try to avoid taking those full-on 5v5s without an angle onto Supa, or one of the more vulnerable members of Mad Lions Koi. Do still have to respect what Elyoya and Alvaro are bringing to the table, however. The long-range engage potential is lethal. You can see no one on G2 on the bottom side going to step up this time around. They have learned their lesson.
Yeah, I think if you're Mad Lions Koi, it's just a case of, look, play the pushing game, ping-pong these waves, wait for objective fights, because that's where you're really going to be strongest. You've a 2-item Orianna already. Like, Fresskowy is huge in these fights, and he's great ball delivery system with Elyoya, Myrwn. That wombo combo is nuts. But it's just a case of trying to hold on until you can get to those positions and try and find those fights.
It's going to be tricky. As we get later into the game, G2 now leveraging their Herald on the top side. Just for a bit of damage here, not going to be able to grab the tower. They'll be hoping to put more resources in the back pocket of Broken Blade. Have to be precise, locking down that Akali in the fights. Can be very tricky as Broken Blade gets more and more items under his belt to keep someone like Supa alive. Shielding from Fresskowy will feel good, but let's see what Mad Lions Koi want to do next.
Dragon is spawning in 50 seconds. Myrwn likely going to push out this bot wave. Excuse me. Push out that bot wave and then give them access into this river. The contest over the mid wave is something we're going to be expecting soon. Hanson are forced to catch this wave. Recalls now coming in from MDK. Similar for Yike. That gold is being spent. Items are being completed. Broken Blade, I would argue, overstaying a little bit on the top side. If he does have gold to spend, he needs to get back to base and spend it soon. And looks like he's going to do that right now.
Yeah, I liked how Mad Lions Koi have set up their vision here, though. You can see there's a ward just beside Broken Blade on the top side of the map. They're just trying to spot it if Yike is there. Now that they're going to spot Yike as he starts to move in towards River, they're a little bit more able to leave Fresskowy on that top side to just clear waves against BB without the threat of Caps TPing up, Yike going, and then they take the tier 2, because there is always an angle where G2 just look for trades. It's been the trademark play of G2 on going for these cross maps. So now when they see Yike, you can see Fresskowy feels way more comfortable just sit under that top lane and take that wave.
Mikyx stepping forward, Yike behind him to clear out a little bit of vision here. Every little bit of poke Supa can get before the objective gets started does matter. Big thing though, Hansama, obviously the healing on Senna Q, scaling with lethality pretty effectively. So at 2 items, you're already getting about 200 heal per Q. Mad Lions Koi really need to be able to follow up instantly when they do find that angle to poke out someone on the back line.
Dragon started up. There is absolutely no vision at all here, and this is terrifying if you're any member of G2, because there's so many ways to set up for Myrwn on the engage, and that's why they're leaving Fresskowy in that top side. Curious to see exactly how G2 want to respond. Cap's only just leaving base, does have the destiny to get there though.
TP now coming in from Fresskowy. G2, is this their call to back off and simply go for top lane instead? They don't have a wave to play for, so BB's going to come in, Yike off to the side. Mad Lions Koi grouped up. Mikyx going to find the hook onto Supa. That's crucial. Again, the Senna ult, immediate follow-up. Caps on the back line, and Supa just deleted. Right as the fire starts, he's ticking down. He will finally fall. One final auto to get it done. Win well from Myrwn is beautiful, though. Hansama now going to be in trouble. The Dragon offering him quick access into the backside. Knockup coming through. Q3, fantastic from Myrwn, but it's a scrappy fight. Caps still untouched. Gold card now coming in. Q coming through, and Myrwn the one to start to take over again. Just clean with the knockups. Myrwn playing like a madman, keeping the fight going. He cannot miss a tornado. It's a quadra for the Yasuo, and an ace for Mad Lions Koi.
They think they want Supa, but it's Myrwn. That's the problem. This Yasuo has been incredible in these fights. The setup for him has been so good, and he's finding those moments to pop off. A quadra kill and Baron for Mad Lions Koi.
And at the end of the day, you can see here in the fight, G2's composition, they burn so many of their resources, so much of their upfront damage. And Myrwn's just able to live for so long, constantly getting Q3s, leaping on Hansama, who has no chance in the 1v1.
Great decision making from him in that play, because you can see there's double knockups on several different members, but he's like, no, if I can get onto Hansama, that's realistically the core problem that we have here. He's going to be a lot of that consistent damage, so get rid of him. Caps isn't going to provide that damage, so then we can just turn on to BB, who's going to have attempted to one-shot Supa. So great decision making mid-fight there from Myrwn.
Baron going down for MDK, G2 trying to respond by locking up a Dragon, slowing down the progress in the game. Mikyx going to input buffer the hook, but only into the wall. Will not save him. 1 member down, 2.5 minutes left on the Baron from MDK. Let's see what they can get done. Their siege obviously very menacing with the poke from Varus and the follow-up from Zach.
MDK in a fantastic position now. In these extended fights, they just continue to come out on top. It comes back to that topic of G2 having so much single target damage. Even if they do get that initial pick, it's not enough as nice Elyoya forcing his way towards G2's
coming out
base.
from Supa. Good follow-up. CC means an instant pick. Q out of safety from Yike. Elyoya a bit over eager there with the flash back in. MDK already breaking out 1 tier 2 tower. Very likely to take an inhibitor here on the next wave.
The level of confidence we're seeing from MDK. This is not what we were expecting from this team coming into this winter split, but they are decimating G2 in these fights. 24 minutes in, they're already knocking on the doors of the base. Broken Blade is bot lane pushing what he can, but that's another tower that's going to go in the favor of MDK.
And so often we talk about playing with nameplates off. Mad Lions Koi feel like they are perpetually playing with nameplates off. They don't care about your history or your pedigree. They're going to get aggressive. They're going to force plays. They know how their comp works. They know their limits. And they're playing it fantastically.
And out of the game, they just get to keep playing forward, play aggressive, get into the face of G2, shove out your waves, make sure that you're able to set up for next Dragon if you really want to. But I think at this stage, if you can just keep G2 in their base, play for objectives every single time they're up, it becomes impossible for G2 to try and play the game. This comp needs wide open fields where TF can abuse the fact he can teleport around the map. If you can just TP from your bot inhibitor turret to the top inhibitor turret, it's way less threatening.
And I also just think that at this point, you know, Hansama is just too far behind the clock. He has 60 souls. Yes, 60 extra range is nice, 45 AD, some crit chance as well. It's not enough for him to be a sustained damage threat. You highlighted earlier, a lot of single target upfront damage for G2. Even if they kill Supa, if Myrwn is still alive, if Fresskowy is still alive, it is so hard for G2 to come out on top in a team fight. It's a really tricky puzzle for them to try to get through. And MDK not going to give them any free kills or opportunities, especially as the map just continues to get smaller and smaller for G2.
I mean, and the truth is that, like, after they killed Supa, I thought that they'd immediately be able to just shut down Fresskowy, but he had the flash available. He's now got the Zhonya's as well. It's only going to get harder to find these kills in isolation outside of what it was already difficult before. And I think that MDK just have a very well-rounded composition. They have so many damage threats. They have such a strong front line. They have a huge amount of utility. And the beauty of this Yasuo is that you can keep matching on the side lanes as well, whether you send the TF or the Akali. And the moment that you send two people off to a side lane, because of the gold lead that they have, MDK just barrels it down a single lane and they force an objective. So they've got a really good handle on how G2 is trying to play the map right now, and they're not giving them an opportunity.
It's so tough. Myrwn is essentially a Kaisa at this point in the game. Elyoya goes in, Myrwn can always follow. And it means every potential Zac engage is a death sentence for G2 backline. They don't really have the tools to stop these engages from coming through, and they don't have the damage to get through enemy frontline. It's so hard to play. Broken Blade now going to step back. Myrwn immediately going to ult and try to kick things off. Broken Blade getting shredded down. Alvaro with the instant follow-up. They don't want to give G2 a chance to breathe, a chance to scale, a chance to do anything. Pushing in on the top side, breaking open a tower, breaking inhibitor, and they're looking to end game one here and now.
It's over. MDK. You still have Caps pushing the base. They're trying to go for the tower, the recall to come through and hope to save the game, but you just don't have a chance here, G2.
One tower falling, but look at Hansama. He just doesn't do any damage to Elyoya. MDK taking their time. Caps throwing down the ultimate. Maybe they buy another moment. MDK getting chunked out will finally be forced back here. With the base left weaker, the inhibitor knocked down. Mad Lions coin, complete control.
Minute 45 until Baron is up. Just over a minute until Dragon's up. I think if you're G2, it's more of a case of, well, screw Dragon, we don't really care about a third one. We just need to try and get some sort of control on the map, some sort of gold into our back pockets. But even then, it just feels like as soon as that Baron comes up, MDK started, and how do G2 try and contest from a position like that?
I mean, their best plays are trying to look for picks, trying to catch MDK off guard, but they have not been able to do a very good job. But it comes back to what Drakos was saying earlier, the ability for the Yasuo to follow any sort of engage from the Zac. Look at how easy it is. Like, there's nothing that G2 can do to stop this engage. Very well played by MDK. They know that they're stronger. They force their way in through top and immediately come back out onto the map. They don't even give G2 the room to breathe. They're right back into mid.
G2's only angles to force picks. If you group as 5 and run it down mid, no one is isolated. No one is left alone. You've got Myrwn off to the side. Caps can't handle that problem solo. And even if they commit resources to Myrwn, they've already lost mid lane inhibitor. Mad Lions Koi, credit, so many teams fumble, so many teams get stressed out and get lost in this mid game. They're not concerned about Caps split pushing on the top side. They're going for the throat.
Yeah, they just know that they can immediately go in onto this bot side if they really want to, look for the dive, because, well, you don't have the TF there. You just have the numbers advantage, and you can see Yike is going up top side to try and support Caps here. I think they're going to try and look for the pick on Fresskowy as he goes under the tower, but Alvaro trying to get in a position to cover for that play as Fresskowy's playing pretty far back to make sure that he doesn't go down in that engage.
Nothing but respect for MDK. We go all the way back to the draft, and you think about how teams have often struggled to deal with the flexibility that G2 showcased, and they handled it extremely well. They've come in with a very clearly defined plan, and here is Elyoya again.
Safety, but that's not safety, baby! That is death! Only way out of that one is in a body bag, and Hansama is going to find that out firsthand.
They're looking straight at the Nexus. They're looking to end this game in sub 30 minutes.
Pushing forward, Myrwn. Windwall can block so much. Broken Blade going to try desperately to flank onto Fresskowy. All the lockup now being committed. Gold card going in. Windwall not going to block what they needed to block, but Fresskowy going golden. The stopwatch buying him a brief moment, and a moment is all he needs. He will finally drop, but all of G2 are falling in the meantime. Broken Blade, we're going to watch the end in slow motion. His hourglass buying only a brief second. Game one, Mad Lions Koi from start to finish. Aggressive. G2 punished in a few instances, but game one, Mad Lions Koi, first blood in the Winter Finals.
They came in, they saw the draft, and they said, I don't care, we've got pushing lanes, we've got Elyoya on something he can engage on. Let's just get on top of G2 and start the party, and it is absolutely rocking for the Mad Lions Koi fans right now.
Incredible stuff in game one from Mad Lions Koi. We're going to have to see how G2 adapt as we get closer and closer to our second game, but for now, a quick break.
Man, I feel like that was my best intro ever.
Yeah, not bad, hey, not bad. I can get bro. You know it as well. I also know you can dance. You should join me next time. And yes, I feel like you've also deserved a bit of a break. You've earned it.
Thanks.
Even the biggest champ needs a break.
Good job.
Hey, thank you.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Oh.